Hi everyone, how are we tonight? Welcome to my home kitchen. My name is Matt Britt and I am an assistant professor and chef at Johnson Wales University here on the Providence campus. Like many of you, I'm also an alumni. I earned my master's in education from Johnson Wales in 2019, so not that long ago. So today I am extremely excited to be with you because tomorrow is one of my favorite times of the year. Spring is here and we are going to be celebrating Cinco de Mayo. So our menu today is 3 dishes that are guaranteed to really deliver for your Cinco de Mayo celebration, and we're going to get right to it. The 3 dishes we're making, we're going to make some crab and shrimp nachos, so an upscale version of the classic bar favorite. We're going to make some really solid and simple guacamole that won't disappoint. And we're also going to make some fresh margaritas because, you know, margaritas go perfectly with everything that we're doing tonight, and you can always use a good libation. So throughout this process, I'm going to try and take questions from you guys as we go, but I'm flying solo here. So I'll try and get to them as quickly as possible as they come in, but forgive me if they are not easily readable on my end. So let's get started, and I'll pause from time to time, try and take some questions, and hopefully give you guys the answers you want. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven, which I already did. We're going to set it to the broil setting, and I have 2 settings on my oven. I have a low and a high. I like to use the low setting on this because it allows me to do some other things and hopefully not burn those nachos. So I already set that broiler on low, and it's going to get nice and hot while we prepare everything, and then we're going to put it in the oven a little bit later. So for our nachos, again, these are just a little bit fancy. They're kind of a step above what you might see at most bars, but I think that since we're all spending time with our family, why not celebrate and elevate those traditional nachos? So we're making crab and shrimp nachos, and for this dish, you need a few things, and everything that we're going to do today, guys, is completely substitutable, if that's even a word. You can change out whatever you like or don't like. Really feel free to experiment with what you're doing and have some fun with it. So for my shrimp and crab nachos, I'm going to be using some cooked shrimp. Smaller is actually better for these for this recipe because you want to make sure that each nacho has a nice amount of shrimp and crab on it. So smaller is better. If you're looking to buy a certain type of shrimp, shrimp are labeled by the number of how many per pound. So you might see like 1620 or 3540 or 4050. That 4050 would be really nice. If you're like me, you might be having some difficult times getting ingredients from the store. I had some larger shrimp, some 1620s that I just roasted off. Not a problem. I'm just going to cut them up, make them better for my overall nacho presentation. Next thing we need, some lump crab meat. Again, you don't have to use this if you don't want to, if it's a little too pricey, but why not splurge if you can? It really makes these nachos pop. So lump crab meat, I picked the crab meat clean to make sure there's no shells or bone fragments. The last thing you need when you're serving a sort of a fancy nacho is to have a little crunch that you don't want that's not a tortilla chip. Lastly, a few other ingredients, some sour cream. This is full fat sour cream. You could use light if you wanted to. I like the full fat. I think it gives a nice creaminess. It provides some flavor. And at this point, you're already eating nachos, so just go with it. Last, scallions, cilantro, just chopped up nice and small. And some cumin, ground, freshly ground if possible, makes a real big difference. But we're going to use a little bit of cumin to season. Salt and pepper are optional. You can add them if you want, but we don't have to do that. So let's combine all of these ingredients into just a mixing bowl, okay? Take our sour cream. Try and get everything from the edges. You don't want to waste anything these days. Okay, we're gonna add our chopped shrimp to the mix. Add our crab meat. Don't want to waste any of that. We're going to add our cilantro and scallions right in there. And lastly, our cumin. You could add other seasonings to this if you wanted to. If you wanted to make it a little spicy, maybe a little cayenne or ancho powder would be really nice. You could also add coriander as one of my favorites, but we already have cilantro, so we kind of got that covered. Then I just mix this around just to bring it all together. We just want to make sure everything is nice and mixed so that, again, each nacho, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we make these nachos, everyone has a perfect amount of ingredients. All right. Beautiful. Here you go, guys. That's your crab and shrimp nacho mix. So we're just going to put this aside for the time being, and we're going to come back to it a little later in the demo. Next, start prepping our guacamole. Okay, and again, ask some questions, guys. If you have them, I'll try and get to them and read them as I can, and hopefully be able to answer them if they come in. So for our guacamole, remember, this is kind of simple guacamole. You can do a lot of different things with guac. You can add all these different, I've seen bacon in guacamole, and trust me, bacon and everything works. But for me, I like to keep it a little more traditional, a little more simple, and let those sort of clean flavors speak for themselves. So I'm going to use avocados. Hass avocados, ripe from California or Mexico. You can get avocados from all across the globe, Central America, South America. They come in different shapes and sizes. The ones we're most familiar with are the ones from Southern California and Mexico. Hass avocados, they turn a little bit darker when they're ripe, and these are the ones that are going to be the best for my dish. So, other ingredients. Chopped jalapenos. You could use any chili you want, serrano chili, poblano chili. If you wanted to make it really spicy, throw a Scotch bonnet or a habanero in there. But I like jalapeno because it's easily findable at the grocery store, and you kind of know what you're getting with, or what you're getting with the spice. So, on the chilies, I just chopped these up ahead of time. I took the seeds out of half of them, and I left half the seeds in. You don't have to leave all the seeds in. If you're a little bit timid with your spice level, get rid of them. If you want more spice, again, keep them all in. The key is, though, know what you like, know what your family likes, and then be able to moderate appropriately. I have some chopped white onion. Again, I haven't done any of these knife cuts in the demo. I'm trying to kind of move this along. Just chop the onion, guys. If it's perfectly diced or a little bit rough, it's not going to matter. Diced tomato. Again, tomatoes aren't really in season right now, but there are some amazing varieties available, through greenhouses. It might not deliver as much on the flavor, but you'll at least get the ripeness and the color that you want, so it's better than nothing. Chopped cilantro. Okay, I know a lot of people out there don't love cilantro. They think it maybe gives a soapy taste to their mouth. If you don't like cilantro, guess what? Leave it out. Doesn't matter. This is all your personal preference. I love cilantro, love it. So by all means, I go heavy on it. But if you want to get rid of it, don't worry about it. It's not going to make that big of a deal, I promise. Lime juice. This is where I have to be a little bit picky, guys. Fresh squeezed. Don't buy any of that garbage that comes in the little jar in the bottle. Who knows when that was squeezed, whether it was frozen, how old it is. Fresh squeeze makes all the difference. When you're squeezing a lime, okay, and this is a good tip, you can buy one of my favorite tools here. This is a lime squeezer. You just cut the lime in half, you put it in there, squeeze out the juice. It works great, especially when you have ones like they have lemons and orange ones of these. That catches all the seeds for you. It's beautiful. If you don't have one of these and you want to go a little bit old school, I guess, you can use a pair of tongs. Just put a lime in between the tongs after you cut it, squeeze it, and you get all the juice. You get so much force out of these pair of tongs. This is a great tip. So, avocados. Let's go back to these real fast. I've prepared 2 avocados. I'm going to add 2 more to the mix, okay? So, how do we know when avocados are fresh, okay, or ripe, rather? I see a lot of people in the grocery store, they're squeezing avocados like they're really going crazy on it. All that's doing is hurting the flesh of the avocado, and it's going to bruise the flesh of the fruit. So my tip, take your fingers like this, put your avocado right here and here, give a small squeeze. Okay, if you feel a little give, you're probably good to go. You want to leave these on the counter for a day or two just to let them get perfect. That's all good as well. So we determine our avocados are fresh and ripe by squeezing the top and the bottom. Get a little give. Now removing the fruit from the pit and the skin. I have a chef knife right here. Be very careful, guys. I'm going to use my knife, cut down until I hit the pit, and then cut around, being very careful with this knife. And do that one more time. Cut down. All the way. Be very careful. Put the knife down for 1 second. Twist the avocado. Pop it open. And there you go, guys. Next, one more. Right open. Now, to remove the pit, take your knife very carefully as well. Just put a little nudge. Twist it. and then just kind of lock it in the bowl. One more time. If the avocado's not ripe, this is going to be a really tough stage, so make sure you get your avocados nice and ripe. Put them right there. Okay, next, get a spoon, and I'm going to show you. We're going to take the avocado, and we're going to use our spoon, and we're going to scoop using the shape of the avocado to get all that out. And there you go. Nothing left in there, guys. This can go right in your compost pile. As far as the pits, I've heard a lot of people say that, you know, they like to put the pits in the guacamole because they think it keeps it from turning brown. I don't buy that. But if it makes you feel any better, go for it. What really helps keep the avocados from turning brown in the guacamole is the lime juice that we're going to add. It really slows down that sort of browning that we don't want. Also, if you make too much guacamole, which is never a bad thing, you might have to store it. A lot of times you put it in the fridge, you come back the next day, it's brown. That's not really what we want. My recommendation, put a piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap, push it all the way down on top of your guacamole so there's no air or very little air, and then put a cover on it. It'll add at least 2 days to your guacamole. Scoop out your avocados, and we're good to go. All right, let's put this in the sink. All right, so we have our avocados in the bowl. This is 4 avocados, but again, add more, add less, it really doesn't matter. You're gonna have solid guacamole no matter what. Making it fresh automatically makes it better than any of that junk you're gonna buy at the store. So, add our other ingredients. Here we go. Jalapenos, half with seeds, half without. That's the way I like it, but you can do whatever you like, okay? Chopped cilantro. Tomatoes. Chopped onions. Lime juice. Okay, now I haven't been listing a lot of ingredients. You know, we can run through this. It's probably a 1/4 cup of onions, 1/4 cup of tomatoes. But again, I'm not in your house. I don't know exactly how much onion you like, how much tomato you like. Have fun with this. Play around with it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You make guacamole again, and it's going to be just as good the next time, if not better, because you'll like it more. Lime juice. Okay, don't add too much lime juice. This is about a little less than a 1/4 cup, 2 limes. That for 4 avocados, I think that's a really good amount to start with. Add that right in there. And now, the one ingredient I didn't talk about, but it is super important. Now, avocados have so much flavor. They're beautiful, they're creamy, they're beautiful color. They're great for you nutritionally, but salt really is what makes them come to life. So when you're doing this, I like to add 2 nice pinches of salt. Okay? Now, to mash this up, you can use a whisk, you can use a spoon. I like to turn to my trusty potato masher. That way I use it for more than just one thing. And I'm going to mash these avocados very gently so that I don't really just destroy all the ingredients that are in there. So when we're looking for avocado doneness, like what's that right consistency, it's kind of like a unicorn. It's something that's very hard to imagine or that exists. It's chunky and smooth. So it's like, how do you do that? You want it to be chunky so that you see all the ingredients and not pulverized beyond belief, but you also want it to be smooth in the sense that it's cohesive. So you might have to get some sort of kind of swirling motion in here, get everything down from the sides. Really kind of put it together there. All right, guacamole's done. It's all mixed up. There we go. Now, what do we serve this in? Any bowl works, but I recommend if you can, really set yourself apart. Pick up one of these molcajetes. It really, really makes your guacamole look great on the table. Kind of fits the cuisine. Works really, really nice. So just spoon my guacamole right into the center. All right. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm trying to read as I go here. Little fun fact, I was supposed to have my co-host of the Culinary Now podcast, Jamie Schick, on with me, but we had some technical difficulties, as you can probably imagine happens more times than you'd like, and she got kicked from the call. But she's here in spirit, so hi Jamie, if you're on the call, you guys should definitely check her out. Her Instagram is Vanilla Bean Chef. She's an amazing pastry chef, and she does some awesome Instagram demos as well. So make sure you check her out, as well as follow the podcast. So guys, if you want to know what we're talking about, not only at Johnson & Wales, but also in the industry, Jamie and I started this podcast earlier in the year, and we have about 14 episodes so far, so it's going well. All right. Alrighty. So there's our guacamole. Boom. Now, garnish, right? What do you want to garnish with? As is, it's perfect. But if you want to get a little more color on there, two good options. Freshly ground queso fresco, so like a white farmer's cheese, or my personal favorite because it complements the ingredients that are already in there. I have some pickled red onions right there. Okay, that bright red color kind of pairs with what's already in there for the onions. It's going to add a nice little color on top and won't add any flavors we don't want. So just take a little bit of pickled red onions, put that right on top, and you are good to go. Now, we're going to put that aside, and we're going to start making our nachos because our oven is just about ready to go. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? All right. That's all you need. You could have just made guacamole and you'd be all set. Okay, so for our nachos, we have our mix. Remember this? What? Lots of shrimp, lots of crab, a little sour cream, cumin, green onions, and cilantro. Very, very simple. Again, salt and pepper you could add if you want, but I think it's perfect the way it is. So, other ingredients that I need. Of course, tortilla chips, right? Now I have a huge bowl of tortilla chips right here that are gonna go with my guacamole, but I could take a few of those out and I could use them for my nachos as well. When you're serving the guacamole, the chips that are all bent or kind of pieces, save those for the guac. Get those perfect triangles for your nachos because it's gonna need all the space it can get to get all that filling on top. Okay, so other than the chips, I have some pickled jalapenos. Okay, you can make these. I like to pickle things, helps preserve them, especially when all these ingredients come in from the garden in the summer. But don't feel hesitant about buying these in the store, guys. You can definitely do any of the stuff we're talking about. Buy it at the store. If it saves you time, saves you maybe a little bit of money, it's always a good option. Lastly, cheese. Now, what kind of cheese works? Okay, I like pepper jack and Monterey Jack, a nice blend, 50-50. If you like it a little spicier, go all pepper jack. If you like it a little bit more mild, stick strictly with the Monterey Jack. If you want to go completely off the charts and do cheddar, I don't care. Do whatever you want. It's all going to be good. Okay? Put this knife over here. Okay, so I have a baking sheet right here, little cookie tray. I'm going to take my chips. Now the mix that we made, this is good for about, I don't know, maybe 2 dozen nachos. I'm gonna make 5 just for the point of this demo, but by all means, feel free to make a second batch. Feel free to make 1 big batch. One thing that you're gonna see when we make these nachos is all the nachos are kind of left separate on the tray, right? So this is not what you would see at maybe a typical bar or pub where all the nachos are piled on top of each other. I love those nachos. That grind time, that's the best in the world. These are a little bit more refined. There's something that maybe you could put on an appetizer menu, on a bar menu. Also, keeping them separate, it's kind of their version of social distancing right now. It lets you get each version of the chip with the perfect amount of shrimp, the perfect amount of crab meat, the perfect amount of everything. So, okay, get a spoon. I'm gonna take my mix. And then very carefully, guys, just to make sure I get everything on there, I'm going to carefully lay our spoon, a good heaping amount of filling on each chip. Okay. So as I said earlier, I'm an instructor at or assistant professor at the college, and I teach in the Culinary Arts Bachelor of Science program, which means that I teach in the program that's designed to really train chefs to go out and be chef entrepreneurs, run restaurants, and to sort of do both the hands-on elements, but also the business. The name of the podcast is Culinary Now Podcast. That was a question that came in. I finally got to one. Culinary Now Podcast is on all major streaming sites, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. Google. So you can find it there, guys. We actually just recorded an episode today with Scott Guerin from Modernist Pantry. So if you're into sort of the technical molecular stuff, it's an awesome interview. So stay tuned for that. So beautiful nachos, social distancing on the tray. I have my shredded cheese. Okay. Kind of just pile that on, push it down just a little bit. A little bit falls off the side, not the end of the world. All right, beautiful. Okay, don't let perfection be the enemy of good here, guys. Pickled jalapenos, 1, 2 on each one. There was a question, do you party hard during Cinco de Mayo? Every day. No. We're self-quarantined, guys. Everything in moderation. Okay, here we go. There's our nachos. Now we're going to put this in the broil, and we're going to keep an eye on it because you don't want it to burn. All right, beautiful. Now, guacamole is made. Nachos are cooking. We got to get something to drink, right? So I got the smallest bottle of tequila I could find at the store. I think this will do for our self-quarantining days. I'm going to take some ice from my freezer, and we're going to make ourselves a nice margarita. All right. We got some ice. Just kind of pop it in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of ice because we're going to shake this, and we want to get nice and frothy and cool. Beautiful. Okay. Put this back in the freezer. Okay. The other stuff I'm going to need for my margarita. Glass to help shake. 3 ingredients, guys. Very simple. 3 ounces of silver or blanco tequila. Okay. What kind of tequila should you buy? Honestly, guys, don't go crazy. I mean, you want the flavor to be a little bit of citrus. You want a little bit of sweetness from the simple syrup that we're going to add. And you want something that's going to be pretty decent. Don't spend a ton of money if you're making margaritas. Don't buy Reposado or Añejo tequila. I think it's going to go to waste unless you really want the color. But I don't really feel like you need that. So 3 ounces of silver or blanco tequila. Okay. I have 2 ounces of lemon and lime juice, half and half. Most people do just lime. I like both flavors, so I'm going to add that here. Okay. And then 1.5 ounces of simple syrup. So you can buy this in the store. It's a little pricey. It's actually the super easiest thing to make in the world. I just do 50-50 sugar and water, dissolve it and cool it down, and it'll store for a week or 2 in the fridge. Might mean you need to drink more margaritas. All right, put my lid on. Cut it down, just like 5 shakes. You don't want to go crazy on this. All right, that might have been 6 or 7. Who's counting? Separate the glass. Okay, let's put this in the sink. Check on our nachos. Oh. All right, those look great. Now, for the glass for the margarita, because again, we want to make presentation look nice as well. Nice little rocks glasses. I have a lime that I just cut in half. I cut a little opening in that. I'm actually going to rub. Actually, I'm going to do it on this one. This one looks better. Okay, just take a little cut, and I'm going to rub the rim of the glass with the lime. Okay, I'm only going to do one with eventual salt, but both with lime. Okay, take the glass and then dip it in a little container of just kosher salt, and you got your nice rimmed glass. You can use a tahini, which is like sort of a chili salt, chili seasoning. That's really great on this as well. Blackening seasoning works really well, but salt's one of those just simple, don't mess around with it. It's perfect. Okay, my wife doesn't like salt on hers, so I'm gonna leave it off. Okay, next, lime wheels. Okay, I use this to rub the rim of the glass. I'm also gonna use it to garnish. Just make a small incision so it sticks on the glass. Okay, pour my margarita in. All right. Garnish. Oops. With the lime. Put this here. Put this over here. All right. We're getting ready to go plate our nachos, so let's go. All right. Just to make sure. Look at this, guys. How does that look? That looks pretty delicious, right? All right. So grab our nachos from the oven. One of my jalapenos fell off. There you go, guys. Look at those. Golden brown. Not too dark on the top. You don't need to make them perfectly golden brown, guys. Just a light coloring is perfect. Grab a nice plate. I'm going to use this little wooden board right here. Okay? And I have some tongs. It's going to help me not burn my hand. Put the nachos on. Oops, get that jalapeno back up here. All right. And there, guys, put that off to the side, are our shrimp and crab nachos. A little high-end twist on the classic bar favorite. We have our guacamole and tortilla chips. And then, of course, the margarita, which is the best part. That's good. Any questions, guys, before we sign off? All right. Well, I'm going to enjoy this guacamole, nachos, and margarita. Probably going to have to share with my wife. For those who asked about Claire, she's doing great, so thank you. And I hope to see you guys next time, or you'll see another chef coming down the road soon on Cooking with Jay Wu Live. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a safe, happy Cinco de Mayo, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.